everyone, this is Bert. I got a lot of requests, and by a lot I mean 3, because I don't have that many viewers yet. But anyways, I got 3 requests to make a video all about every character in Jabba's palace. So naturally, I decided to make a video about every droid in New Hope. Jabba's palace one is under construction. I'm working on it, and I'll get to it soon. But for now, in this installment of
Droid Skill Customs,
I'm going to go over every droid in A New Hope. Let's start with the droids we find on the Tantive 4, the Rebel Blockade Runner. First, of course, are R2-D2 and C-3PO. Now with R2-D2 you have lots of options, and I've kind of based my choices on what he looks like at different points in the film. For much of the movie, he's just a little bit dirty, so I think the Resurgence of the Jedi Battle Pack R2-D2 works best. But when he has his restraining bolt on, then you need to get the Legacy Collection Build-A-Droid number 29 figure. For those really dirty scenes in New Hope, I use the Force Link 2 R2-D2. It was a Toys R Us exclusive. If you can't find that, Vintage Collection 149 is pretty similar. It's actually a little bit darker, so it's up to you. And of course, when he's damaged, you need the Walmart Droid Factory R2-D2 from the Luke Skywalker Droid Factory 2-pack. When he's super shiny and clean at the end, I use the Last Jedi Force Link 1 R2-D2. I think that one works great. Now, as far as C-3PO goes, no C-3PO is really perfect. I use the Ewok Throne C-3PO for most of my setups because I have a special way of customizing him. If you look at my other videos, you can find that. How to make the definitive C-3PO, but he lacks the restraining bolt. The only real version that made the restraining bolt was the Power of the Force version. And then for when he's lost part of his arm, you need the flashback photo C-3PO. Back on the Tantive 4, we then see U-3PO. U-3PO was made as a Build-A-Droid Legacy Collection figure in Wave 6. But if you don't want to buy that, because it's rather expensive, you could get the TC-14 figure, and he works pretty well. Now, when you're buying U-3PO, make sure that all your body parts match. They had him in silver and what most collectors call champagne silver. Next, we have these 2 astromechs aboard the Tantive 4. People argue whether they are Imperials or Rebels. It's up to you to decide that one. For R2-Q2, I would use the Entertainment Earth Astromech pack, but the Disney Droid Factory Force Awakens pack comes up with a decent one too. For R4-M9, the Power of the Jedi one is a little too tall and skinny, and the R4-M9 from the Disney Droid Factory Force Awakens pack doesn't have the feet wires, so there's no perfect one. Plus you have to decide, do you think he's green or do you think he's black? It's kind of hard to tell. Now let's check out all the droids we encounter on Tatooine. Then we have MBRA7, or sometimes known as just RA7. Available in a number of different ways. None of them is perfect. None of them really has the silvery shine that I'm looking for. But anyways, you have the Disney Droid Factory version where he's silver with black details, the goldish version that was in the 2007 Saga Legends, or it came with the Sandcrawler, and then you have the Build-A-Droid 2008 Wave 4 version who's silver and black, much like the Disney version. Now, I'm planning on doing another video about how to make a shinier version of this droid, something I spotted on Jedi Temple Archives. So look for that in the future. Next we see this shot where there's a few droids visible. Obviously everyone's favorite, the Gonk droid or the Power droid is there, and you can use the Power of the Force 2 Comtech Gonk droid that came with the Jawa, or you can use the later Vintage Collection one. I actually prefer the Power of the Force one just because he's dark gray. Then we have another Gonk droid in the background, one that's actually much more visible later on when we're in Mos Eisley's. They've never made a figure out of this one. In the foreground of that shot, you might see this other droid named 2X7KPR, a security droid who came with the Jawa in the Legacy Collection, Build-A-Droid number 39. Then we have another Gonk droid, a yellow one. Definitely a fun custom to be. I'll have to make him and show him off in the future. Next we see everyone's favorite astromech R5-D4. And he was available in the Saga collection. Actually, that's my favorite version. The very same thing was available in the Target exclusive vintage droid set. Then there's R5D4 Vintage Collection number 40, who's actually got a Build-A-Droid feature where he can be his parts can be taken apart. Then there's R5SK1, who came in the Disney Droid Factory 4-pack for Rogue One. And actually, that's the only I mean, he's practically R5D4, really, but that's the only version where he has the red markings on the back like he's supposed to. Then we have R1G4, who's available in the Saga collection. He's seen inside and outside of the Sandcrawler, and then again in Mos Eisley's. Next we have CZ4. He's available in the 30th Anniversary Collection, TAC number 26, and also the Disney Droid Factory that they had at Disney World. You could get a CZ droid. The sculpt on that droid is a little more accurate, but the paint isn't as fun and messy. After that, we have this stovepipe droid, a lot of people call him. His real name is MHYD6804, and they never made a toy of him, but you can get a kit from holeinthegroundpro.com. Pretty cool looking kit. I've never purchased one yet, but I've seen a lot of people who've done a nice job customizing that. And behind the stovepipe droid is another Gonk droid. This makes the 4th Gonk droid in this scene. Then we see this thing right here. Could be junk, but I think it looks enough like a droid to count it as another droid. Then the Treadwell droid, WED1577, pops up. He's available in the Power of the Force pack with Amp Baru. And he's also a metallic version can be found with the Power Droid, the Saga Collection Power Droid, Saga Collection number 14. We have this round spherical looking droid sort of thing, it might count. And then we have a Protocol droid, looks almost exactly like C-3PO, only the back of his head is just a gaping hole. And that takes us outside, where there's a couple droids who didn't make an appearance in the Sandcrawler, including another WED Treadwell droid. This one was available in the Legacy Collection with a Jawa as Build-A-Droid number 4. And there's the LJN droid from the 30th Anniversary Jawa with LJN droid figure set. Then we see down below into the Lars Homestead, and we see the Lars Homestead droid, Vintage Collection number 167, just called Power Droid there. Really cool toy. We see the droid 2X3KPR, and they have not made a figure of him, but once again, if you go to holeinthegroundpro.com, there's a kit you can buy there. I would, of course, go with the clear one so you can light it up. And that brings us to Mos Eisley, where we see a lot of the same droids from the Jawa Sandcrawler scene, but many new ones as well, including this R5 droid, who actually has the same body as an R2 unit that's seen later on in the Mos Eisley scene. Then we have the droid R3T2 from an Entertainment Earth Astromech pack. If you look closely in the background, there's not just R1G4, but there's another R1 unit who's gray with red or maroon details. Shows up frequently during the Mos Eisley scene. Then we have R2A5, who came out in the Entertainment Earth 2016 Astromech pack. And then switches numbers and letters around. You have R5A2, who is available in the Legacy Collection, but you had to buy 5 figures to put all the pieces together. Then we have an unnamed R5 unit hanging around in the background during the Sand Trooper interrogation scene there. Very hard to see. No name for him. And then we have WED9M1. No figure for him, but this droid, also called the Bantha droid, can be made with a custom kit also from holeinthegroundpro.com. Then we have R4E1, who's seen when Luke is selling his land speeder. He was available in an Entertainment Earth multi-pack. His torso's a little long, so he could stand to be updated. And then aboard the Millennium Falcon, we have, of course, the training remote droid. The Legacy Falcon has one with it, and you could also get a training remote droid with the Vintage Collection young Anakin Skywalker figure from 2012. Then we go to the Death Star. On the Death Star, we see the interrogation droid, who was available with the Power of the Force Comtech Darth Vader figure. And then we see some mouse droids. You could get a mouse droid with the Vintage Collection 98 Grand Moff Tarkin. Another one is available with General Hux from the Last Jedi line. And there's several others, but those are the two best ones. You could even, if you wanted to get an Action Fleet one, you could do that too. Then we have a power droid aboard the Death Star. And you could actually use the Lars Homestead Gonk droid that just came out, the Vintage Collection one. And simple no-skill custom here. Wrap the legs with some masking tape and spray paint it black because they use the exact same body for both of those droids. Then we see R3M3. R3M3 was available in the Legacy Collection as a Build-A-Droid. And he was also made in the first series of Droid Factory figures. And if you ask me, I feel like the Legacy Collection one has more accurate body color, but I like that the Droid Factory one from Disney World has the clearer dome, so you can mix and match them. One other thing I should mention, it looks like his back panel, he's got a whitish gray back panel, and it swaps sides as you watch the movie, but really all that happened was they just flipped the footage so it would appear as though Obi-Wan Kenobi was going from left to right, and then later on from right to left. Then we have the Death Star droid, officially named 5D6RA7. You could use the Power of the Force 2 Death Star droid. He's got an amazing finish, even though his stance and sculpting isn't perfect. Then there's the 5D6RA7 from the Legacy Collection. It's got better articulation, but the finish isn't as nice. And then there's the Droid Factory Disney World version, who, again, is maybe more accurate sculpting-wise, but doesn't have the nice finish. It looks very plasticky. Sculpting-wise, the Disney World Droid Factory one is really the most accurate, but be careful and don't make the mistake I did. I accidentally bought mine and it had C-3PO arms instead of the Death Star droid arms. The C-3PO arms just have a lot more detail to them, where the Death Star droid should have smoother arms. Next we have R3T6. Last droid we see aboard the Death Star. They made him in the Astromech Droid Pack Saga Series 1 by Entertainment Earth, but he is the outdated droid body sculpt and proportions. So I actually use R5SK1 from the Rogue One Droid Pack and use a clear dome from any of the Disney World Droid Factory R2 units. That brings us to our final location, the moon on Yavin 4. And there we see a couple droids that were originally going to be used in the Death Star, but those droids were cut out of the Death Star scene and became Rebel droids. Then we had the blue droid R4D6, and to piece him together you had to buy multiple figures from the Legacy Collection in 2008. We have R5K6, best known as Red Leader's droid. He was available in the Scramble on Yavin pack, which is crazy rare and crazy expensive, so you could also put him together using the Disney Droid Factory sets from Disney World. Those ones unfortunately lack the feet wiring. This droid actually was seen prior to the Yavin battle in a couple shots, once in a Y-Wing and once in the briefing room. There's also R2X2, who shows up a number of different places on Yavin base. The correct version is the Legacy Collection Build-A-Droid 52, but the same character was available in the Entertainment Earth multi-pack, but they made him all black. It might be cool to get both just because the all-black version looks pretty cool, even though he's not as accurate. Then there's a white R5 unit that shows up just behind Luke Skywalker during the briefing scene. And then we see brief glimpses of Jack Porkins's R5 unit. Now he's described as being R5D8, but I'll be perfectly honest with you, he's just R5D4. Okay. Now Hasbro has made a R5D8 figure in the Yavin Battle Pack that was available at Toys R Us. However, to distinguish him from R5D4, they gave him just one single red stripe at the top of his head. But really in the movie, if you look, he does have two. So you could just use R5D4 and you'd be all set there. Then we have this weird gray dome thing that's seen where an astromech belongs in a Y-Wing in the background of Yavin base. I don't know if that's some alternate astromech or what. I imagine it's just what they had on hand when they were making the movie. Now, if you look at the models of all the X-Wings and Y-Wings that were used in A New Hope, you'll see there's lots of different astromechs, but If you're watching the original theatrical release, it's very hard to distinguish any of them, except for this one red droid who's very clearly seen during the trench run scene. And I don't know if maybe they were trying to suggest this is perhaps Wedge's droid. If you look at Wedge, he is a red dome droid during the trench run scene. And then, actually, oddly enough, R2D2 shows up many times in the background. I imagine they just had lots of extra R2D2 bodies around and thought nobody was ever going to pause the movie and look at all these background shots to notice that R2D2 was in a Y-wing and then someone else's X-wing, but I did. So that's it. That's everything that was in the movie. But let me talk to you guys about a couple things that I could not spot in A New Hope, but I know they were just off screen or on set. And maybe you know where they show up if they do. Here's a all black astromech droid that's pretty awesome. He can be seen in shots of the briefing room scene, but I couldn't actually find him in the movie. And there's also an aqua seafoam green colored one, where when the sand troopers are knocking on doors on Tatooine, if that scene had just gone like 3 seconds longer, you would have seen him cross the screen. After this, my next video I plan is the Jabba's Palace one. I hope to have that up in the next 2 weeks. So look back here, like and subscribe, and you'll know when that one shows up. And then, of course, coming after that, now that I've done all the droids in A New Hope, I have to tackle all the droids in Empire Strikes Back, and of course Return of the Jedi as well. So look for those videos in the future.